Hello and welcome back. Introduction to Operating System, chapter number 5, part 3. In this tutorial, we are going to understand the different categories of computing and OS for them. So here we have to discuss the various types of computer. So here the first is supercomputers, second mainframe computers, third server computers, fourth high-end workstation, fifth personal computers, and sixth smartphones and tablets. Supercomputer. This is the most powerful computers. It performs millions of billions of floating point operations per second. Floating point means we have already discussed in the previous lesson, so you know that. Uh, when we give some tasks that is in the form of base and power, so you get problem. Or if we give some calculation which is in the decimal, so you get some problem. But this performs millions of billions of floating point operations per second. The most critical aspect for an OSR means what are the most aspects for this OSR? The first, performance optimizations. The performance should be very accurate and high compared than any other computer. Distributions and coordination of both data and computation among the thousands of the processors. This computer has thousands of the processors are working together, maybe more than thousands of the processor, and they are working in the parallel mode. Why they are working in the parallel mode? To give accurate, relevant, and quick answers. Even you are giving the big computations, big calculations. Uses of these computers are weather forecasting, nuclear test simulations, molecular modeling, etc. In the basically this is used in the research center, and it is used for the satellite launching. It is also used for scientific calculations also, where the calculations are very high and there is no chance for error. So there it is used. And the first powerful computers, supercomputers made by the India is Param computers. See, this is the K supercomputers of Japan. This is made by the Japan. So you can see, now we're talking about the mainframe computers. This is the next class of the computers. Means we can say after the supercomputer, which is a powerful computer. So we can say mainframe computers. And used in government and corporate environments where the apart from high performance, a very high level of reliability and compatibility with existing mainframe best software are key aspects. Means this computer is not used by the personal one. It is used by the big organizations, big corporate or government agencies where they need high level of reliability and compatibility with existing mainframes. The mainframe computers are computers used primarily by large organizations, as I spoke in the previous paragraph, for critical applications like bulk data processing. Bulk means huge data processing, such as sensors. Sensors, every after four every after the 4 years, the census works are done and the data are collected of every people of India, and that is stored and that is processed by this type of the computer, that is mainframe computers. And consumer statistics, enterprises resource planning and transaction processing. They are large and have more processing power than some other classes of computers. If you compare with the any other computers, I'm not talking about the supercomputers. After the supercomputer, this computer is very powerful. and compare than mini computers, servers, workstation, and personal computers. This computer is powerful. You can see that is a IBM mainframe computer. Server computers. Server computers provide some computing or storage services to a large number of client computers. First, we have to understand what is server. You might have heard about the server. Server is down, this is not working. So we can say server is just such computer which get the request of the different kind of computers, that is called the client, and fulfill the requirement of them. What they are demanding according to them, it's serving. So that is called the server computer. So that server computer has to manage various process, various storage capability. So server computer provides some computing or storage services to large number of client computers. For example, when we search something on the Google, so what happens? The data which is coming on your screen from the internet, that is stored somewhere to the server. So when we search, so the server is responsible to answer you. Sometimes the server is not responding, then what happens? You don't get the answers, right? The critical aspects of these computers are performance, reliability, compatibility with already existing software, and scalability. These are the critical aspects. The ability to incrementally increase performance and as and when a need by adding components rather than replacing the whole computers. Yeah, that is also a good point about this. Suppose you are working on this server computer, right? So whatever the work you are doing, that is working that is done on the server computers. So server computer is very powerful, and it is not necessary to change your hardware platform. It can be just we need to we can say just we need to add something to the server. So server should be very powerful. You can see that is a picture of the server computer. A high-end workstation. The high-end workstations are used for scientific computing as well as multimedia applications. Multimedia applications means like making the animated movies, 3D modelings, CAD, computer aided designing, CAM, that is computer aided manufacturing. And you have seen there are so many cartoons are made using this. So these cartoons are made by high-end workstation. And this is also used for making such a movies that is not possible in the real life. Some scene you have seen in the movies, actually it's not possible, but that kind of the scenes are taken and made by this high-end workstation. This is also used for the graphic works. The high-end workstation require effective management of the resource such as processing power, memory, disk space, network, bandwidth, etc. They need this kind of the quality. Now we are talking about the personal computer. These computers are very popular and almost all are knowing and all are using this. In this category, you will see that the desktop, the computer which you are using at school, the computer which you are using at your home, these all are under the personal computers. The category of computers most familiar to us is that personal computer. These computers provide a general platform that caters to the widest possible range of use and also to use users with a vastly different skill sets. Means these computers are cheaper, easier to operate, and this is used for general purpose. General purpose means suppose you are a doctor, so you can optimize for your the doctory work. Suppose you are a student, so you can optimize for your own work. Suppose you are working as a uh, office manager, so you can use for that. So this is for the general purpose work, and this is cheaper and this is easier to operate, easier to handle, easier to manage. For a large number of users, user friendliness is very important aspect. Subsequently, the operating system in use are basically Microsoft Windows Family Operating System or OS X operating system, that is from the Apple, that is called the Macs, and Linux. So if we talk about which kind of the operating systems are coming to the personal computer, so it may be Windows. Windows has a different flavors. You can see Windows XP, Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 8.1, Windows 10, and Windows 10 has also different flavors like Windows Home Editions, Windows Enterprises. So as per your the requirement, now the another type of operating system is Mac. Mac is operating system provided by the Apple company. Linux, Ubuntu, these are the free of cost. These are the open source. These are easily available on the internet and we can download and install it. So these are the different types of operating system. The photo of this is the desktop operating system and this is our laptop, right? Yeah. Talking about the smartphones, these phones are known to you. You guys know better than me because you are using this smartphone, right? The smartphone is mobile device that combines cellular and mobile computing function into one unit. Means we can say this smartphone combines the feature of computer, I mean the desktop, as well as the feature of feature phone. Feature phone means those phone which allows us to make a call, receive a call, send a message, receive a message, and for playing the videos, playing the audios, playing the music, okay, and for the small navigations, that is called the features phones, right? So this smartphone combines with feature phones as well as the computing functions of computers devices. Okay, so they are distinct from feature phone by their stronger hardware capabilities, an extensive mobile operating system which facilitate wider software, internet and multimedia functionality alongside core phones functions such as voice calls and text messaging. Yeah, when we purchase a smart mobile phone, so we talk about first what are inside it as a hardware. I mean, so we talk about the RAM, we talk about the processor, we talk about the storage capability, we talk about the uh, bandwidth. Okay, so these all things we see before purchasing, and then we talk about the which operating system is coming along with that, right? So this smartphone facilitates wider software. Wider software means we can add the third party apps also, and internet and multimedia functionality. Yeah, you can use wireless net connectivity. Multimedia functionality means if you want to watch the videos, if you want to edit the videos, you want to send and receive, so you can. And core functions such as voice calls, texting, and much more. They also support wireless communications, as I told it, such as Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, NFC, or satellite navigations. They have a different input methods such as numeric keypad, a small QWERTY keypad with navigation keys or touch gestures on a screen keyboard and touch screen. Nowadays, the touch is more of familiar and popular because almost all smartphones are coming with touch. Touch, that is a virtual keypad. When we try to type something, so you'll be see the pop-up keypad is coming over there, that is called the virtual or touch keypad. So now we are getting the voice input rather than typing and touching. If you want to speak and operate your the mobile, so you can operate. That is a feature of a smart mobile phone. So I have given example photo of two smart mobile phone. This is from the Apple and another one from the Samsung M31, right? Thank you for watching this video. We'll meet again in the next video.